comes to remodeling and renovating your home, there is a lot to know, but we've got you covered. This is Around the House.
Welcome to Around the House with Eric G. Pro Insider. This is where we talk about business for the trades. Maybe you're building homes, maybe you're designing homes, maybe you're doing all that kind of stuff. This is for residential remodeling and construction. So if you have a hand in that, this show is for you. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Well, today I wanted to talk about a dark and deep subject because I have seen a couple things happen over the last maybe week that have brought this to my attention, and it has caused me to think. If you're a business owner, if you've got your own company, what happens if you didn't make it or live through the end of the day today? Could your business run tomorrow? How would your family do? Are you ready for that day that maybe something bad happens? I mean, we had one of Caroline's friends, if you listen to Around the House here, last week's show, was helping a buddy out over on a Sunday or a Saturday, helping him out lay a paver patio. And a simple accident happened, and he didn't make it. Died instantly. So now, what happens? Do you have life insurance? I've been talking to life insurance people, getting mine boosted up a little bit. Can your family survive without you being there? Now let's talk about your business a little bit. How do you have this dialed in? Because this has been something that I, to be honest, have not been good at all the time. And I still have room for improvement, which is my goal here for 2022. What happens if one day, God forbid, I didn't make it home? Can things survive without you? So here's some tips that I've got for that I just kind of wanted to spark some conversation and give you some food of thought. Whether or not, you've got a small company, is it a one-man show? Is it a $50 million company? This all matters, especially if you've got somebody that is, there and depending on you. Kids, could be anything. You know what I mean? Could be any one of those things. So let's think about it a little bit. How is the management structure going? Do you have this put together? Do you have solid employees that if you weren't there tomorrow, could they turn the lights on and get things going? Do you have a bookkeeper that's doing all that? Do you have an accounting team? How is that going to work? Who is the second in command in your organization? Do they know? Maybe you get in a car accident. Maybe you're in a coma. Can the show go on without you at the helm? And this is one of the hardest things to think about as a business owner, especially in the remodeling, residential, new construction business. Because so much of what we do is inside our heads. How are the documents? Do you have a paper trail for everything? Do you have something? Do you have a plan of what needs to be done tomorrow? Is it all in your head? Is it written down? Is it on your calendar? Or is it just, I got a notepad with things written down on it? Does your spouse know that notepad exists? You see where I'm going. So having a solid plan, and quite frankly, maybe that plan is you shut it down. Do they know enough to shut it down? Do they know the passcode to get into the banking? How prepared are you for the worst of the worst happening? Because these are things that you should be thinking about. Because it happened to somebody. Just a little over a week ago. So these are things that we should all be considering, because if it can happen to somebody, it can happen to you. Another example, somebody I know in the radio industry found out their work one day, the next day they're going in for surgery for a brain tumor they didn't know 24 hours earlier that they had. And decent chance I'll make it, but there's no promises. It was big enough that was going to be an issue. So think about these things. They, luckily, are not a business owner, but they're a manager. They've got their own stuff to manage. They've got a family. So think about these things of how The show goes on when you're trying to put things together. If you're planning out what's going on with your business, what are your business plans of growth? Do they include having that succession plan? And even including, are you going to sell the business one day? What happens when you hit 65 or 70? What happens at that time? You going to call it quits? Family taking it over? You going to market it? Well, if you're going to market it, you're going to spend, the last 10 years making sure that you've got that dialed in and something that creates value that you can market. Because you want to design that business that way so it's easy to hand that off. Because by the time you're ready to sell it, you're done, right? You want to be out. Most likely that owner is going to say, hey, I want you there for a year or two afterwards. So these are all things you should be considering a little bit to make sure that you've got that taken care of. So not to be too dark and depressing today, but just think about that. Could your spouse, could your kids, could your family, could your employees, if you don't have any of that, unlock the show and get it going the next day? Does the show go on without you? And that's our tips today for Around the House Pro Insider. We're going to keep this one short because this is one that I was just here to spark a little bit of discussion with you, your team, and your family. What would happen? One little exercise that I've done with my team, and this is the first time that I even thought about it. Somebody brought this up to me with a former business, and I went into the office that day, had a notepad, and I wrote down, how many people are going to have the show going? And it opened up a lot of little holes and problems that would have been an issue. Maybe I'm on vacation. All these rules apply. All right, everybody, have a great rest of the week. I'll see you in 2 weeks for the next edition of our Pro Insider. Plan ahead. Maybe get a little more life insurance. Maybe spread the knowledge to your team. Or come with a plan that'll keep things going so your family doesn't have to worry about it when or if that day is in. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great rest of the week. Thanks for listening to Around the House.
Somewhere unseen and undiscovered, anywhere beyond the mean. Life is a love song, let's be lovers.